Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of my Victorian Sims 2 challenge. Before we dive into all the drama that is prepared for us today, I did want to show you my new spreadsheets. So I wound up downloading a spreadsheet template from the wonderful Cupcakey over at Simberry. I'm going to link that down below for any of you who want to use her template as well. I've changed it up a little bit to fit my challenge in particular. So I'm also going to download or like upload mine for you all, and all you have to do is click make a copy under file, and then you can essentially make your own out of my spreadsheets. So what I really love, and all of this is pretty much her setup, is that it shows your current population, your playable residences. I haven't gone through and done my own businesses yet, but what's really cool is the percentiles that it shows you. So it shows you your age percentages, marital statistics, and gender percentages. I know that this is a little bit limited with the gender percentages because it's only male and female, but if you guys want to play with more options there, I am sure it's pretty easy to do. I don't know how to do any statistics and spreadsheets. I'm so bad and out of touch with technology sometimes. And then I changed play like lot order into showing the rotations that I'm on. So you can see some of these are rotation 12 and some of these I've completed rotation 13. I also have added to her spreadsheets the life expectancies or mortality rates. So I have one page for each social class. Middle encapsulates both lower middle and upper middle. And of course, we also have upper class as well. And we don't have anyone in my town who's quite upper class yet, although I have a feeling in the next generation, or maybe two, we will be getting there. And then something I haven't played around with yet is the household information. So you can see it still has her original pink. I haven't decided if I'm going to use this or not yet, so I'm including it in the thing just because. And then marriages, I know this is a little bit chaotic, but we do have lower class, lower middle class, upper middle class, and upper class on one page. I just like it that way a little bit better because when I'm looking for a woman from the ladies in waiting section to add to an arranged marriage, I like to just have a bird's eye view of everything on one page. Of course, you could divvy this up into multiple pages if it's a little overwhelming, because this is a little bit of sensory overwhelm. I know it's kind of chaotic. And so, yeah, the ladies in waiting, it's a little bit simpler. I just have the generations and the dowries there. And then I also have religion. What I really want to do is create a pie chart over here that shows how many people are in each religion, but like, I don't know what I'm doing. If anyone wants to do that for me, let me know. And then I have the cemetery registers, which I am super behind on, as you can see. So without further ado, let's jump into the Price household. And I know I'm a little bit behind on my family trees. I'm sorry. I know it's a little bit chaotic. Hopefully you can kind of get a sense of who's who in the spreadsheets a little bit. I intend to get back to the family trees a little bit next rotation. It's a lot to do every rotation, so sometimes I'm a little bit behind, but it does have, I think, everyone who's currently playable on it. And so we jump back in with a little bit of family drama. If you remember, the Prices have had a lot of fighting. Like a lot. Like the last few times we were on this lot, the kids were all beating each other up, especially Julian and his sister Prudence and Lilith. For some reason, Julian is not friends with the twins at all. And so, you know, to honor the good family camaraderie that we have, I decided to invite over Cedric to do a family portrait. Of course, the family is in utter chaos, and this was probably the most unsuccessful portrait that I ever had, and I knew it was going to be bad. So I decided to invite Faye over as well to do a singular portrait of our dear Leonora, because she will be aging up into an adult tonight, I think. And so I just wanted something a little bit to celebrate her and commemorate her when she does get married and move out eventually, which will not be happening this episode because she's not actually being formally courted by anyone yet. So we've got a little bit of time. And as well, I've actually changed my family rotations from 5 to 7 days to 3 days because there was just so much to get done in each episode. And I wanted you guys to be able to spend a little bit more time with each character to get to know them a little bit better. And also because I feel like things were moving really fast and I wanted to spend more time with my Sims, you know? I just did. So, we are having the big party tonight to celebrate a birthday, and we've got all the classics in town. We have Charlotte and her partner Teresa, who was a Price. Hi, Teresa. They're just like they're precious. They started dancing autonomously, and so I was like, yes, I'm gonna let this happen. This is so cute. When it comes to partners of the same gender and same sex, I'm not really worrying about like the historiosity of it just because I want people to be able to see themselves in my Sims and see themselves in the past, even though like it was a little bit more complicated and there was obviously a little bit more tension involved in the 19th century with that because the Victorians were very sexually repressed, as we know. So I know it's not like necessarily historically accurate that these Sims could actually get married, but I'm letting them do it. That's just how I want to play, and that's kind of how it is. But of course, I'm always open to hearing your ideas about handling that better in my game. So, like, stop by the Discord, drop in the comments if you have any suggestions about that. But to each her own. All right, so now it is time for Leonora's birthday. I can't believe she's already aging up into an adult. I feel like her life is just passing by so quickly. All right, so here she is. She is an adult. She's very pretty. Of course, she takes after both of her parents. I think she has her dad's chin and her mother's nose and face. I think she's adorable. And so here's Harrison Lawson. This is Philippa's second oldest son, I think. And he's trying to ask Leonora to dance, and she's having none of it. She is not about this. As you might recall, she's always had a bit of a crush on Gregory, her friend who she confided in about her father, but Gregory hasn't shown up to like any of their family events for a while. He's probably not welcome considering the fact that he keeps getting in fights with her dad, but so it goes. And so we actually also have Cedric and Faye, since they were involved in painting the portraits for tonight's celebration. They are, of course, invited to stay for the rest of the party, and Cedric invites her to dance. And, you know, it's kind of funny because they haven't danced together in a very long time. They haven't danced together since she was a very young teenager at the Wine Harvest Festival or the Grape Harvest Festival. So it's quite sweet. It's quite sweet to see them dancing together again. And who knows, maybe something will blossom from this at some point. I think Faye would really love that. So finally, Harrison asks her to dance again amidst a bunch of other couples dancing, and she feels a little bit of the pressure and is like, fine, I'll dance with you, sure. And you know what? She actually kind of enjoys it. Like, they're not really friends. She doesn't know him very well. I don't even know if he was at her debut celebration, but she decides that maybe it's time to move on from Gregory at this point. She knows that Gregory has been a little bit involved in the intellectual salon society in town, and that's not exactly the most proper function in society, so she knows it wouldn't be a good match. She also knows that her father is unlikely to approve of that match because instead of a dowry, Leonora is actually inheriting the family butcher's business. So it just kind of, it feels like the Prices have maybe outgrown the butcher shop a little bit. I mean, they're kind of like proper upper middle class now, and I feel like they would kind of contract out some of the nitty gritty work from the butcher shop and the farm to another family. And I also think it's likely that they will be moving to a bigger house soon. They're starting to kind of outgrow the space that they have on this very tiny lot. So I think it fits for me. And as you know, I start off with one of the smallest lots for my Sims. And then eventually I do move them to bigger lots as seen fit. Here's the final portrait. I told you it it did not turn out well. But hey, not all paintings can be a winner. And this family was a disaster to try and pose, if we're being honest. So we also have one more birthday happening at this party. It's Delphine. She's aging into an elder, and I cannot believe it. I feel like it was just yesterday we created her on stream and Twitch. And oh, that's classy. Dude. Stop. My cat is knocking over a plant because of the way that he is. And before I can even get her dressed, she's on the floor having an existential crisis or midlife crisis. So finally we get her dressed and everything. Here she is. I think she looks like a very dignified little old lady. I decided to just like keep her hair because I love that hair on her. It feels kind of iconic. It feels really appropriate for her personality. And so we decided to keep it that way. So it's time for everyone to head out. Harrison says goodbye to Leonora, and Leonora goes over to tell her mom that she thinks he's going to call on her tomorrow. And of course, Delphine is so excited because the Lawsons are a very prominent family in town, as you probably know from our King episodes. So Philippa King married Renaud Lawson, and this is their son. And so there's a lot of work to be done around the house after this big party. We find Prudence mostly playing the piano while everyone else is trying to take care of the housework. Things are a little chaotic since we haven't had a maid of all work in a while. I think next rotation we're actually going to look into hiring another maid of all work, but I've kind of been putting it off maybe until they buy a new house, just because we're not really. I accidentally let all the hogs die, and I also accidentally let all the cows die because I'm really bad at taking care of things apparently. And so, true to word, Harrison does end up calling on Leonora the very next morning, which no one was quite prepared for. Everyone's outside in the rain trying to get some work done, and Marcus isn't exactly happy. I think Marcus is maybe a little bit in denial that his like baby girl is finally growing up and is being courted by men and like adult men. What just happened? Why did you just lose your crushes with each other? Why are my Sims like this? Why are they like this? I don't know. These two have been like properly hot and cold their entire romance. Like, actually, that's not true. They were like really sweet together for a long time. And then for some reason, this episode, they have just been like constantly fighting and rejecting romantic interactions. Poor Harrison looks like he feels so awkward. And like simultaneously they're fighting and now they're back together and like couple dancing in the chicken garden for reasons I don't know. So I don't really know what to do with them. I don't know if maybe this has to do with like his affair and he's been feeling like really conflicted. Maybe. So Harrison, of course, calls on Leonora. He finally makes it into the house, and she's got her two siblings kind of chaperoning the dance because Prudence never leaves the piano. I think she probably wants to be a wonderful and impressive composer a little bit later in her adult life. So I think we're just gonna let her mostly play the piano as a pianist and just see where that goes for her. Maybe she'll join the music career, but maybe it'll just be a hobby. We'll see. And of course, these two are still outside having their hot and cold fighting. Did you see him just push her? What is happening? What is happening? This feels a little abusive. This relationship is starting to make me feel really, really uncomfortable. What do you guys think is wrong with Marcus? Why is he doing this? Because I don't know. I don't know why they're fighting. I did end up giving them personality traits this episode, so maybe that has something to do with it. But I decided it's time to spend a little bit of time at the butcher's shop. And so this is actually Brooke Clark. Brooke is the daughter of Marcus and Molly Clark, who was their maid of all work. They had a bit of an affair. Marcus has never met Brooke before because she moved out. Well, because Molly... Dude, stop. My cat is trying to open a door. Because Molly moved out while she was pregnant because she couldn't keep up with her work. Dude, chill. And so I think that Marcus maybe sees her from across the room, and she reminds him quite a lot of Molly. I mean, they do look an awful lot alike, and I think she also actually looks quite a bit like Marcus. She has Marcus's eyes and kind of like slender, thin face. I think she's really pretty. I really like her. But I think Marcus maybe suspects something, so he goes over and he starts asking her some personal questions like, "Oh, I haven't seen you around here before. Like, who's your mother?" Because she's obviously still a teen. And she tells him, like, "Oh, my mother is Molly Clark. We've been living with Sophronia, who I think you're related to." And he's kind of surprised because Sophie has not told the family that Molly and her daughter have been living with them. Like, they have no idea. They thought that the family essentially cut ties with them. But growing up, Molly and Sophie were best friends because they kind of grew up together at the same age. And so Leonora, who's here as well getting some practice for when she owns the shop, sees this exchange that's been happening between Marcus and Brooke and is really curious. She hears that... My cat just opened a door. Okay. She sees that Brooke and Marcus have been having this conversation. She overhears that Molly is her mother, and Leonora was very suspicious of the affair. And so she kind of has an inkling that her father was the father. But she doesn't say anything. She just kind of goes over and like talks to her a little bit, like, "What are you doing here?" So it's later that night, and it is Marcus's birthday as well. I cannot believe he is an elder, and he of course changes into a Santa suit and promptly has an emotional breakdown on the kitchen floor. That's a whole mood. And so we actually do have some friends and family members over. Here's Sophie, whom we saw at the little vignette this morning. And here is Marcus as an elder. I think he looks quite like charming and dignified and cranky. He's always cranky. I don't know why he's always cranky, but the only person crankier than Marcus is his son Julian, who grew up with the grumpy trait. Now, the grumpy trait, I honestly kind of have some regrets about using because it makes his mood in the red literally all the time. And I can't do things with him because of that. I can't get him to skill, and I can't get him to play the piano or paint. I just I don't know what to do with him. And then here, of course, we have Septimus having a boogie in the attic all by himself because the rest of the party is downstairs. Septimus doesn't know what to do with himself, and let's be real, it's kind of relatable. And after everyone has left, Marcus and Delphine have a little champagne toast to themselves in the kids' bedroom, just trying to find some privacy. Oh my god, he pushed her again. That's really violent. This is a base game interaction that he would kind of violently push her away. I'm not doing that intentionally. It feels a little icky. It feels a little abusive, and I'm not really about that. And their relationship is just honestly kind of toxic as they've aged. I mean, Delphine never knew about his affair with Molly. She never had any suspicions. And so I don't think that Delphine is the one causing these problems. I think it is all Marcus. He probably really misses Molly. They grew up together as well. And maybe it's a bit of a genetic thing as well because his son is a proper mess. So thankfully we kind of get things to calm down a little bit today. And Leonora is able to get a little bit of reading in. Oh, it's so nice to see everyone just kind of calm, chill, sitting, relaxing. And this is actually Rainier Harvey. So he is their cousin. This is Sophronia's oldest son. He is the heir to Sophie and her husband Albert Harvey. What did I do to deserve these Sims? What have I done in a past life? Like, guys, who's fighting? You know what makes this worse is that I have the flu going around this household. And so these guys are fighting while Julian has the flu. Julian just beat up Albert while ill. You see, he immediately goes into coughing. I don't know what to do, guys. I don't know why everyone hates each other. Oh, this is so bad. Thankfully, the twins are actually like pretty well behaved these days. Lilith and Prudence haven't gotten into any fistfights. So because Julian has the flu, I just wanted to pop into this family tree real quick to show you who would be next in line for their main household. And because Peter Jung already has an inheritance, this would be going to Rainier Harvey. I think technically it probably would have gone to Peter because he's the oldest. But because he already has quite a bit that he's inheriting, I figured maybe it would make more sense to go to Rainier. So you can see that's his son. You know that meme where it's like the woman is like awake with anxiety at 2 a.m. and meanwhile her boyfriend sleeps the deep and restful sleep of the unoppressed next to her? This is kind of what that made me think of. And so because Leonora has been taking more active roles in the butcher shop recently, I've been having her call in to check on the business when they don't go every day. And that's really great. So if you have a manager for your business, you can call in and still make money without actually going into the shop to make money. So it frees up a lot of your time, and I've been doing that. We get about 2,000 a day from doing that, which is honestly pretty good. Like that's probably about as much as we would make if we were actually there, maybe more. And continuing the aspiration failure is Delphine on the front lawn. Thankfully, I'm really glad to see that Julian and Prudence have kind of repaired their relationship. I do think that Prudence has calmed down as a teenager, but Julian, like, honestly, I'm surprised he's not fighting his siblings still. Like, it's honestly such a mess, but he's actually pretty close with his sister Leonora. Leonora was always good friends with him. They never actually got into any fights, if I can remember correctly. So I get really, really tired of the flu that keeps going around this house and end up having Delphine make some grandma's comfort soup. I don't want to always be making grandma's comfort soup. It feels a little bit like cheating to me, but I just can't. And because I'm about to send Leonora and Julian out to the vineyard, I didn't want them to get anyone else sick. So Harrison invited Leonora to the vineyard. She brought her little brother Julian as a chaperone, of course, and I just wanted them to kind of have like a cute little moment under the grapevines here and just sort of enjoy each other's company, continue with their courtship. This is the second time that Harrison has called on her. Last time we were at the Price household, Cecil Harvey had been calling on her, but that's kind of dwindled off a little bit. They're not exactly the same age, and I felt like maybe this might be a better match for her personality-wise. They're both a little bit temperate, a little bit calm in their demeanors, but Leonora takes absolutely like no BS. And I felt like he was a very sensible man. He's also, he went to university to become an architect. He's only one of two to three Sims in town that actually have gone to university. So he does actually ask her if she will marry him, which you can see she's very excited about. She says yes. He's probably going to be one of the wealthier Sims in town, so it's actually like it's a perfect match. He's not the heir, his brother Nathaniel is, but because he goes to university, he has access to a lot more funds from his job because he started off at a higher level and will definitely reach the top of the career. So that is going to be all for today. I leave you with Delphine preening her daughter like, I can't believe you went and got engaged looking like this, in proper motherly form. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And gosh, poor Delphine, who is just like so sentimental that her daughter is engaged. That, I totally get that. Like, that's her eldest daughter who was once her first baby, you know? All right, so I will see you guys next time. Bye.